these brothers rock Jesus pieces, but they really don't know Jesus. Just know that he's the seed, and please believe it. We got the keys to the kingdom. We'll never be defeated. Evil legions, all of these heathens and demons. I know you see them scheming, please believe it. We got the keys to the kingdom. We got the keys for these brothers rock Jesus pieces, but they really don't know Jesus. Just know that he's the seed, and please believe it. We got the keys to the kingdom. We'll never be defeated. Evil legions, all of these heathens and demons. I know you see them scheming, please believe it. We got the keys to the kingdom. We got the keys to the keys to the.
Shalom, fam. Welcome back to the Truth Be Told DC. I'm Officer Matthew, and to my right,
Officer Mendel.
And to my left,
Officer Phinehas.
And Soldier Daniel.
So today's topic is Who is Esau Part 2. But before we get that, we're going to open up as usual with the book of John, chapter 8, verse 32.
The book of John, chapter 8 and verse 32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
So the truth is, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are indeed the children of the book, the Israelites, who must repent, keep the commandments in the faith of Christ. So let's dive right into the lesson. So what we're going to do is open up with a photo of a vegan girl, because this is in response to some foolishness that was uploaded on our YouTube page. So we're going to post a picture of this question that was asked on YouTube, a photo of a vegan girl, a screenshot of what she said.
Okay, read that right there. It says, read that. So yeah.
Let me say, it says, here's 3 scriptures that go against the Israelites. What's that? Ezekiel 18 and 20. The soul who sins is the one who will die.
We're going to get it. I just want to get the scriptures.
Next scripture, what's that? Deuteronomy 24, verse 16.
Go down to the bottom what she said.
I don't see that. I can't see it.
Said, your cult is a bunch of lies and will send you to hell.
Right. So we're a cult that's teaching a bunch of lies, and we're going to be sent to hell.
Let's see.
So let's go ahead and get that. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 16. Let's read that for vegan girl.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 24 verse 16. The fathers shall not be put to death for the children, neither shall the children be put to death for the fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
And that's true, but let's see who the subject matter of this is. Let's go to Deuteronomy 1 and 1, because let's see if this applied to all nations.
Yeah. It just shows you she lacks understanding.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
No, unto all nations.
Unto all Israel on this side Jordan in the wilderness.
There you go. That's crystal clear, because nobody got the laws in the wilderness but the Israelites. So this is a law to the Israelites.
That's the first.
And we're going to show that ain't nothing but a bunch of foolishness when we go to Isaiah 14 and 21.
Nah, we're going to get, let's get that.
But let's go ahead and get that Ezekiel. But no, we're not getting that now. But I'm just saying we're going to rebuke that lie. So let's get that next scripture called Ezekiel 18 and chapter 20. So people post up a lot of madness on our YouTube page with a bunch of foolishness, but don't have any understanding. And we're going to cast down all them dumb lies.
The book of Ezekiel chapter 18 verse 20. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son.
Which was the law that we read in the book of Deuteronomy. But read the next verse.
The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him.
So let's see what righteousness is according to the scriptures. Right. Because in order to be righteous, there's got to be a standard or a guideline to determine if you're righteous or unrighteous. So let's go back to the book of Deuteronomy.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 25. And it shall be our righteousness.
It shall be our what?
It shall be our righteousness. If we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he hath commanded us.
So it said it should be our righteousness. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 1 and 1 so we could establish who the our is. Because somebody might say, oh, They might have came in the middle of the show and say, "Ira is everybody." Let's see.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel on this side Jordan in the wilderness.
There you go, crystal clear. So let's continue hammering this point to prove precept upon precept that the Israelites are the only ones that got the law. Let's go ahead and go to the book of Psalms, chapter 147. This is going to make it real clear.
The book of Psalms, chapter 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
Hold up, what?
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation.
Hold up, time out. Read that again.
So Esau ain't get the law.
Moab didn't get the law?
The book of Psalms, chapter 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord.
That's crystal clear. Matter of fact, let's get Amos 3 and 1 and 2. Because some people just thinking we just up here spitting a bunch of hate or talking out the side of our neck. We going through the scriptures. And the Lord has commanded us to give the sense to teach our people the understanding of the Bible so they will repent and get their lives together for the pending day of destruction.
The book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for your iniquities.
That sounds very familiar to what we read in the book of Deuteronomy, that we got these words in the wilderness outside of Egypt. So read that again. Read verse 2 again.
Damn.
My fault. Read that again now, because we got to make sure that we are hammering this point home.
The book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 2. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities.
There you go. Crystal clear. Now we're going back to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, to see the blessings and the curses of the Bible. So we're going to get this punishment that he put on us.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1.
Yeah, verse 1.
Deuteronomy 28 and 1. So this thing is crystal clear to all the skeptics out there.
And it shall come to pass that if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
There you go. So that was the stipulation. If you kept the commandments, the Israelites will be set upon high. But clearly we did not keep the commandments.
So that was a blessing.
So that was the blessing. So let's go ahead and jump to 15 to get the curse.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So let's get one of the key curses that I don't think anybody can disagree with. Let's flip to 68, because this is the kicker right here.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So that word Egypt means bondage, and that's in Exodus 20, verse 2.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
So that's a curse. The Bible prophets, Moses told us that we were going to go into slavery on slave ships, and when we got to our destination, be sold as slave men and slave women.
To our enemies, though.
To our enemies. That's the whole point.
So let's find out who the enemies are.
Right. Because don't think the enemies you're talking about anybody. The Bible lists everything. The Bible is a self-defining book.
Right.
So we don't need to flip open the 42 negative sayings of who is Ma'at or whatever else they got out there. The Jehovah's Witness book, the Book of the Dead, the Quran. No, you can't make the Bible with no other
The
book.
book of the Mormons.
Yeah, the Book of the Morons.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies.
Because the subject matter is God's enemies. So it says thine enemies.
Make a tumult.
Which is an angry gathering.
And they that hate thee have lifted up their head.
So God has people that hate him. They lifted up their head, meaning become prideful in the world.
They that have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
So they've taken crafty counsel against God's people, the Israelites.
and consulted against thy hidden ones.
They say consulted against the hidden ones. Why are they hidden? Because they don't know who they are. Another word for hidden is lost.
They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
That's why when you fill out a job application, black man, Latin man, it doesn't say Israelite. It says Negro, African American, Spanish, El Salvadorian, some other foolishness.
For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
So they all confederate against the Most High and His children. Even though they fight amongst themselves, they can agree on one thing: to keep you blacks and Hispanics oppressed.
Verse 6, the tabernacles of Edom.
Hold up, the who?
The tabernacles of Edom.
That's the so-called white man. That's enemy number one.
And the Ishmaelites.
That's your Arab man.
And of Moab.
That's the Chinese man.
And the Hagarenes.
Those are ancient Egyptians.
Jabal.
Those are more Africans.
And Ammon.
That's your Japanese man.
And Amalek.
That's the Jewish man that stole your identity.
The Philistines.
More Africans.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
Topping it off with more Africans. So the top three people is the white man, the Arab man, and the Chinese man. And coincidentally, when you look in your communities, those are top. That's the numerical order of who owns the business and infrastructure in your community.
Yeah, that's true.
That ain't no coincidence.
I ain't thinking like that.
But you listen to these foolish pastors and they're talking all this garbage. Meanwhile, you living in roach-infested apartments and pissy hallways. That's a curse too in the Bible. Deuteronomy 28, what's that, 16? Curse shalt thou be in the city?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and flip to Deuteronomy chapter 30. Because these curses have an end, and Moses foretold this, and so did Christ at the end of the book, believe it or not.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee.
Which the blessings and the curses, what we read in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 1, and then verse 15.
The blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations.
So we're going to call them to mind because we out here getting our backsides wore out in America. We're going to call them to mind realizing we are the Israelites. Wonder why we at the bottom of society in every aspect of society.
Whether the Lord thy God have driven thee.
Whether you in East India, Africa, wherever the Most High has scattered us, we will call these curses to mind.
And shall return unto the Lord thy God, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day.
So that's what we're doing. You have brothers and sisters standing up for the Most High God, keeping the commandments and the faith of Jesus Christ in these last days.
Thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul. Verse 3, that when the Lord thy God will return thy captivity and have compassion upon thee.
Because that's what the faith is, to turn this captivity upon our enemies.
And will return and gather thee from all the nations, whether the Lord thy God will scatter thee. If any of thine be driven out of the utmost parts of the heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee.
Right.
And from thence will he fetch thee. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers.
Wow.
And the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of the seed, to love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thine soul.
Meaning we're not going to be doing no more wickedness after he delivers us out of here. Because we're going to have our minds right, keeping the commandments.
And with all thine soul that thou mayest live. Verse 7. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies.
Hold on, the Lord will do what?
And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies.
And the list is what we read in the book of Psalms chapter 83. So you can get the curses in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, 15 on down. Yes, those curses will be upon the enemies of the Israelites.
And on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
On the enemies
that
hate thee. So I thought vegan girl, she said that they're not going to have to pay. Esau not going to have to pay. What did the Bible just say? Get that again.
Verse Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies.
Now, wasn't Esau listed as an enemy on there?
Yes, sir.
He was.
And on them that hate thee,
right,
which persecuted thee.
Let's go to Isaiah 14 and 21 real quick. Just to make sure that she said, because you're not going to pay for the sins of your forefathers.
Yeah, well, because I'm in Deuteronomy 1 and 1. I mean,
we actually got that later on.
We do. Oh, okay.
I'm saying it was only for the laws were only given to the Israelites, so
right?
therefore only the Israelites could sin. That's what it was talking about.
Right. Let's hit
The
this.
point being made is the enemies got to pay for what they did to the Israelites.
That's crystal clear what we read in the scriptures. But let's hit the book of Joel, chapter 3. So we're going to read verse 3 and 4 and 6 and 8, just to go ahead and top it off, just to debunk another lie that many people probably looked at that response that foolish woman put up, your enemy, by the way, and went right back to sleep.
The book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 3. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine.
We know that happened during the transatlantic slave trade. That's historically documented that the black woman was sold for musket guns and wines, and they turned the boys into sex breeders or mandingos.
That they might drink. Yea. Yea. What have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense?
Will you pay me back, saith the Lord?
And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head.
That's what we just read in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 7. That's going to be the recompense returned upon their own head.
And
So what did they do? And those are
there.
two enemies. So what did they do?
Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah,
That's you so-called African Americans.
and the children of Jerusalem,
That's you so-called Haitians and Jamaicans.
that ye sold unto the Grecians.
That they did what?
that ye sold unto the Grecians.
So the Bible prophetically spoke of that the Arabs and the Africans will sell you blacks to the Grecians or the so-called white man.
That ye might remove them far from their border.
Because from Jerusalem or west coast of Africa is very far. America's very far from them places.
Behold, I will raise them up out of the place whither ye have sold them.
Hold up, people do what in these last days?
I will raise them up out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head.
The Bible's consistent throughout. So that foolish response that that dumb woman put on the page is some damn lies. The lies that her forefathers been telling y'all in these churches, keeping y'all asleep.
Keep going, though.
Keep going.
Verse 8, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for the Lord hath spoken it.
There you go. Just what happened to us will be returned upon the
Totally
enemies.
debunk that mess.
That myth, let's top it off, because somebody said Christ changed that. Let's see if Christ changed his tune.
Yeah, let's see that.
Let's see that. I want to see what we going to the end of the book, Revelation 13.
Yep.
So we can all agree this is the end of the book. This is red letter in your Bible too.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 10.
Hit 9 first.
Verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
We all got ears. Talking about if you have understanding.
He that leadeth into captivity
He that leads into captivity
shall go into captivity.
shall do what?
Shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Now it says maybe.
Must be killed with the sword.
They can't pay for the sins of their forefathers.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
There you go. So that's clear.
So Christ didn't change nothing.
Right. So let's make sure we're gonna get one of the Edomite scholars out of the Roman Empire, the Empire of the Edomite.
Yeah,
Read
let's
page 10.
see what Esau himself says.
And this book was published in 1853, and you Negroes wasn't even reading back then. So they was writing them books amongst themselves.
This is the Roman Empire, the Empire of the Edomite.
See, let them know when it was published. It was the 1853?
1853. It was published in 1853. Page 10. Subjugated Italy founded Rome in the Roman Empire. In the length of the entirely overturned the Jewish state.
That was in 70 AD, what Christ prophesied.
The second temple being destroyed by Titus Vespasian and professing the religion of Jesus Christ.
So that's letting you know they just first stole your identity back in 70 AD.
Which they were the first of all nations to embrace.
And they telling you in their history, this is their scholar telling you they were the first people. That's why they call themselves Jewish.
They hold Jacob in captivity.
They hold the Israelites in slavery or bondage
till Messiah ben David shall appear.
Till Christ returns, because Christ was prophesied to come through the loins of David.
The rabbins further assert that the prophecies and the prophets against Esau, Edom, and the cities of Edom have yet received but a partial accomplishment.
So that's telling you that they also know the scriptures, because what is he talking about? He's talking about during the Dark Ages or the Middle Ages when they were chased into the Caucasus Mountains. That was during the Byzantine Empire. That's the partial judgment that he's making reference to.
and that they will obtain their fulfillment in the punishment and destruction of Rome Christian.
That's when the return of Christ. That's exactly what that scholar wrote.
Said they're going to be completely destroyed when Christ come back. They wrote that themselves. They know what's going to happen.
Right. But we still got foolish coons out here shucking and jiving.
Yeah, so we're going to go to the next question by Yadida. Yadada. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Some deep dummy on our YouTube
Big
page.
Yeah, he said he's been studying for 15 years, but we're gonna debunk his 15 years of studies in about 15 minutes. So he's saying,
He said, "What? Yeah, brother from IUIC don't even know who Esau really is. SMDH, LMAO.
Yes.
But you think that you know the origins of the so-called white man, but really you don't."
and then he just go through a whole bunch of
Bunch of
garbage that
garbage.
don't mean nothing.
All right.
So let's just get right to the point. Let's go to you can take that down now, Mike. We're gonna go to biblical baby name. Now this is a rogue scholar here that wrote this.
Right.
So we're gonna go to this and see what she says in her research who Esau is.
A book entitled "Classic Biblical Baby Names" by Judith Tropia.
Who's an Edomite?
Yeah,
who's an
Who's an
Edomite?
Edomite, by the way? Esau, of interest, according to the commentaries on Hebrew scripture,
The Bible.
Esau is considered a significant character in world history and the forefather of the Roman Empire.
So hold on now. You mean to tell me that this lady, this guy, he been studying for 15 years, and this lady went to the Bible and figured that out?
Dun, dun,
What a deep dummy. Then he said something that they descend from Canaan.
Yeah, that just didn't make no sense at all. But now let's go to Babylon to Timbuktu, page 84 real quick, because we just want to touch on one little thing there just to prove a point. And then we're going to put up some photos because pictures say 1,000 words.
From Babylon to Timbuktu by Rudolph R. Winslow. Page 84. In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem in 70 AD.
Now, we're not ready for that yet, but you can keep it up there, though. That's
Yeah,
cool.
leave him up
General
there.
Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter.
Say General who?
General Vespasian
Okay,
and
keep
his
going.
son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. During the period of the military governance of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed.
That's cool. I just wanted to get the point that the Roman armies
Destroyed Jerusalem. And
So
this,
now, this picture right here that he had up, put it back up.
yeah,
Mike.
lead him up.
Leave
We're going to
that
scroll
up.
through
That
them.
picture right there is the Ark of Titus. So this is they put this statue up when they conquered Jerusalem. I think it went up. It was like 90 AD. So it was shortly after,
Right after the
after
destruction.
the destruction. So this is what they put up to celebrate the destruction of Jerusalem. So let's go to the next picture, which is Titus Vespasian, number one, picture number one, and we're gonna see what he looked like. So now it's saying
That's
that's
clear.
a straight. So now we understand that he's an Edomite. So now what does that? That's telling you right there.
That's crystal clear.
He said he was a Roman, right?
Right.
He was a Roman, so that's what the Romans look like. So that's a bust made of him because when they conquered the great men, they made busts out of them. So go
Right.
to the next picture. It's a drawing of him, number 2. Okay, so that's a drawing. So we can see he's a so-called white man or Edomite, according to the scriptures and what Judith Tropia just wrote. Roman armies. All right, go to the Titus Manor because this is on the actual thing that we just on the ark.
This is on the ark.
It's on the ark. It's a close-up. The next picture, Titus
The
Manor.
Titus Manor.
Nah, that's not it. Titus
Yeah, the
Manor.
Manor.
The Manor. It should say Titus Manor. Okay, there it is. Now this is what's on that actual on the actual Ark of the Titus, and you can see everybody on it. This is the Roman army.
Right.
What people look like that today? I mean, that's
crystal
1 plus
clear.
1.
You would hope.
You would hope.
That's
Okay,
deep,
now
deep dummies.
go to the next picture. Is Alexander the Great. We're just gonna go through the list of the people that.
There you go, right there.
What people look like that today? Herodias. Let's get Herodias.
Let's see what he looked like. He
Let's see
probably
what
looked
Herodias look like.
Oh.
These are all out of the Rome. Well, Alexander the Great was from the Greeks. He's from the Romans. Okay, so now let's go to Herod the Great.
I
This
know
is the one that tried to kill
He probably looked
Christ.
different though. He probably. Oh.
Herod the Great. All right, let's go to the general of the Roman army, Julius Caesar.
JC. Let's see what he looked like.
Let's see what Julius Caesar looked like.
Damn.
Okay, now let's go take some pictures of their
headquarters,
architect-
their
their
capitals.
Go to the capital of Edom. Let's see what type of architecture they had back in the day. Back in the day, that's
That's
the capital
Mount
of
Seir.
Edom. Now look, that's Mount Seir right there. That's the capital of Edom.
Petra.
That's Basra. So now that right there, if you look at that first level, it's another level on top. But look, concentrate on that first level, that arc right there.
Down at the bottom.
And down at the bottom, those columns in that arc. All right, let's go to Rome. Let's go to the picture of Rome. Let's see if they kept the same architecture. Oh man, that picture ain't come out right. It's the same architecture.
Let's go to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, the Supreme Court. Hopefully that one ain't like that. That's the
Supreme Court. What about the Rome?
What about Rome? How Rome come out? I don't know why they came out like that. But anyway, if they're okay, that's Rome. That's Rome. The Supreme Court looks exactly like that. For some reason, the picture didn't come out right, but
Everybody
that's
know
the
what the
same
Supreme Court look
architecture.
like.
Everybody
Right.
know what it look like. It's the same architecture. All right, so now I want you to, Mike, I want you to put up the picture of Nebuchadnezzar. Just leave it up. Leave up Nebuchadnezzar. Just leave it up while we go over Daniel's 2.
Yeah, the Daniel 2.
We're just going to run through Daniel's 2 right here because this is the question now. According to the scriptures, we're supposed to be in the last empire.
Right.
So we just going to run through these empires real quick.
Because that brother, the reason why we got to do is because the brother said they not the Edomites. So the Bible tells us that the Edomite will be the last kingdom on the earth, ruling before the return of Christ.
And we're going to prove that through the scriptures.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said they Canaanites.
So in other words,
That's
what's going to be the last? So we got to go into another captivity then.
Yeah, he's saying either we got another captivity or Daniel was a false prophet. Either
One
one.
or the-
One or the other.
But they both saying the same thing.
Yeah, so let's get this. Let's go to Daniel's 2.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 38. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art his head of gold.
So he's talking to Nebuchadnezzar. So this is going into the Babylonian Empire. Okay, so let's go to the next one.
Verse 39. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass.
Okay, so now the second kingdom is that we just went through real quick is a Medo-Persian Empire. So that's the arm of silver right there.
Right.
Okay, so now go ahead.
Another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over over all the earth.
Okay, so that's the Greco-Macedonian or the Greek Empire.
That's Alexander the Great.
Alexander the Great.
Right.
Verse 40. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise.
Okay, so now that's going into your the Roman Empire.
Right.
So now we down to the last empire. Let's read about that. Keep
And
going.
whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, parts of potter's clay and part of the iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay.
Okay, because that's going into America, because what they call America, the great melting pot, where you
pot.
got all nations here. Even though we're all here, we're not all mingled together. It's not just like one group of people. We got
Right.
different groups of people here. They're not all together. But that's the last empire. So if we're in the American Empire, and he's telling us that the
Canaanites.
that these people ruling over us right now are Canaanites. Now let's go to hold on.
Where did you find that prophecy at?
I don't know where he found that at, but we're gonna read 2nd Esdras 6 and 7. We're gonna see what Esdras said. Who the last kingdom going to be? So either he's going to say that Daniel's a false prophet or Esdras. Either one. Mm-hmm. Either way you look at it, somebody, all of them that's out there, the other camps, because you got other camps out there saying he's Ishmael. Ishmael is Esau. I've heard all kinds of different theories.
2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 7. They want 6 verse 6 first.
Yeah, 6. Yeah.
6 verse 6. Then I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also shall be ended, and by none other. Then answered I and said, what shall be the pardon asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth?
So he want to know when this last empire is going to fall. When are we going to start ruling again? That's what Esdras is asking. So when is it going to happen?
And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, then Jacob and Esau were born of him. Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, for Esau is the end of the world.
Who's the end of the world?
Esau is the end of the world.
No Ishmael, no Canaan.
Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
So that's crystal clear.
That's crystal clear now.
He must have forgot that one.
He must have forgot that scripture.
15
years.
15 years of studying to make a fool out of yourself.
Yeah, so let's keep going because we're going to go way harder. We're going to prove it. Let's go to Revelation 6 and 12. We brought this out a few weeks ago. We're going to bring out Revelation 6 and 12. Let's just run through it real quick.
Right.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 12.
16. Oh, yeah, 6 verse 12. Yeah,
6 and 12. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind.
So that's talking about when that nuke hit that EMP, is talking about the satellites, airplanes, helicopters falling out of the sky.
Yeah, we're talking about the final days. This is the return of
Talking
Christ
about
right
nuclear
here.
destruction.
And the heaven departeth as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, the rich men, the chief captains, the mighty men, and every bondman and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains.
Was they running from Christ? They already know what's going to happen.
How you think they got them deep underground military bases or dumb bases?
All right, keep going.
Verse 16. And said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb.
Just wanted to get that to prove that this is Christ is coming back.
The wrath of the Lamb. So
The wrath
Christ
of
ain't
the Lamb.
coming back giving out lollipops, hugs, and kisses.
Okay, so now let's go to Jeremiah 16 and 14. So we're going to find out where these people going to be at that's going to be delivered.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 16, verse 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt.
So obviously this hadn't happened yet because we still observing the Passover, and they still making movies about Moses delivering the Israelites.
They just played the Ten Commandments a couple weeks ago for Easter.
But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north.
Okay, so that's crystal clear. North America, where are the majority of the Israelites today?
And we still talking about the exodus out of Egypt. The Bible just said we won't be talking about that exodus no more after this next exodus. So that's proof.
So where are the majority of the Israelites today? In North America. So this is giving you a clue of the landmass where the Israelites going to be delivered from. Keep going.
And from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them.
Okay, so now this is going to tie into Revelation 6. That's why
I'm going to read Revelation 6. I'm going to hold that, but the fishing is what we doing right now.
Yeah.
And after will I send for many hunters.
Because when that number is sealed, that 144,000 and the 1/3 is sealed, it's hunting time.
And they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill, and if out of the holes of the rocks.
So I'm going to read Revelation chapter 6, verse 15.
Just so you can see that the time periods match up. This is talking about the same exact thing.
It says, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every freeman, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains.
Okay, so now this ain't on the script, but I want to get it just to tie it in to put another finishing move on Esau. Get that Isaiah 34 and 4.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get that because this ties into that. And then we're going to jump on to prove that the final deliverance is out of North America. We're going to prove it without a doubt.
And that thing right here heavy because every bondman let you know it's going to be some Israelites down there hiding in them holes too.
Go ahead.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 34, verse 4. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heaven shall be rolled together as a scroll. And all their hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falleth from the vine, and as the fallen fig from the fig tree.
Okay, we just read that in Revelation 6.
And 13 and 14.
For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea.
Okay, Idumea. So that's telling you the people that is coming on. Now go ahead, keep reading.
And upon the people of my curse to judgment.
It's telling you right there, crystal clear, the Idumeans or the Edomites
That's
or
Greek
Esau.
word for
it's a
Edom.
Greek word for Edom.
And a lot of your newer published King James Bible actually put Edom in there.
So that's crystal clear. So it's telling you who the judgment is for. We just like Officer Matthew went over earlier, they got to pay for their crimes. Now let's go back to the deliverance. Go to Zechariah 2 and 6. We're going to see where they're getting delivered from. We got four prophets saying the same thing.
Nah, brother, I got 15 years. I know more than those 47 Greek and Hebrew scholars, brother, that translated the Bible, brother.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 2, verse 6. Ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north.
Flee from where?
The land of the north,
Okay.
saith the Lord. For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heaven, saith the Lord.
In slavery, just like Officer Matthew read earlier, in slavery, we're going to be dispersed on the four corners of the earth with the slave ships.
Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon.
They dwell with who?
The daughter of Babylon.
Dwell with the daughter of Babylon. Who could that be?
That's about to
find
get
out.
real heavy.
Psalms 137 and 7. Let's find out who the daughter of Babylon is.
Now it's about to get
Let's
real
see if
heavy.
the prophecies all line up. Let's see if the Bible contradicts
Let's see
itself.
if yada dida da or the Bible is true.
The book of Psalms, chapter 137, verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem.
Remember who? Who was that?
The children of Edom
The children of Edom.
in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon.
What did they call Edom?
O daughter of Babylon.
Now, what did we read back in Zechariah?
I'm going to read that. Zechariah chapter 2, verse 7. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon.
Now, read that again. I want Yediah, whatever his name is.
Yediddah.
Yeah, Yediddah.
Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem. Verse 8. O daughter of Babylon.
Old daughter of Babylon. That's crystal clear, brother.
And that go back what we read in Daniel chapter 2 that says, deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. Talking about we're going to be mixed together. These things are simple.
Precept upon precept.
15 minutes to destroy 15 years of dummy.
Who we got next?
So now after that foolishness, let's get the messenger of truth. I think it's just another dummy on the page.
The next fool. Even after we didn't hit all these other precepts prior to this.
Right.
It's going to be
Here's
more
another
comments. It's going to be
Here's
more.
another one.
That's why the scriptures say, keep your foot when you go before the house of the Lord.
Question from the messenger of truth.
Yeah, the question from the messenger of truth. Because if these brothers and sisters would have kept their foot,
There you go.
Esau is not white men.
Yeah.
dummies.
Esau is a location, Joe. So is Edom in a small part of a much bigger picture that is about the destruction of Islam.
This-
What the hell is he talking about?
And the brother got the Hebrew up there too.
Joe,
This brother is a damn fool.
kill me.
It's a land.
That's
it's
it.
not a people.
Well, we get that picture.
We
All right, let's go.
let's get the
Picture of the
photo
King James
of the
Bible.
King James Bible to see if it's a land or a people.
Now, this is the original King James Bible right here.
So these brothers know more than them scholars back then.
47 Hebrew scholars, the best of the day. Looking at the original text, put this together. So now
1611.
That's the cover.
that's the cover. We got it here too in the studio.
Right.
Now go to the next page. All right, zoom in if you can. Zoom in on it.
At the
And
top, it says
zoom in at the
Esau.
top.
Right there in the top
See
middle.
if you can zoom in.
This is like a
If
lineage.
you got to zoom in.
This is the family tree.
Yeah, we're gonna get the family tree. We're gonna break it down. This is simple
Esau
stuff
at
right
the
here.
top.
Can you zoom in, Mike?
Might not be able
He's trying
to.
to. He said,
Okay.
"Give him a second. We're gonna see if we can zoom in, but we'll give you a description. At the top, it's telling you Esau. He's the beginning. This is why they took this out of the 1611. I mean, took it out of the Bible. They don't want you to know who these people are. But if you get a copy of the original 1611 as it was produced by King James, there it is, right there. At the top of the family tree is Esau. Now
There you
scroll
go.
down to the bottom.
Bottom
please.
right.
Bottom right. We're
Hold
gonna
on.
see who down there.
Hold on.
Let's see who in this tree.
A landmass can't have a genealogy.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Now who's down there? Herod.
We already read about
Herodias.
Herodias.
We had pictures of them.
Antipater.
Herodian
We had
lineage.
pictures of them. What they look
Right.
like? What they
Agrippa.
look like? Agrippa. We had pictures of them characters earlier.
Hold on now.
Now
Let
you
you
telling
know.
me it took 15 years and you can go to turn one page and figure all this out? You don't need 15
15
years.
years, and then
That's like
this
15
brother,
seconds right there.
messenger of truth, calling us a dummy.
Idumean. Go over there, Idumean.
Right
See
there to the right.
Yeah, right there, Idumean. So there's your
Antipater.
Idumeans, Antipater.
Herod was a landmass.
This is
Herod.
out of the original 1611 King James Bible.
That's the Herodian line.
Herod was
This
a
is just a
landmass.
bunch of the Dukes.
The Dukes. All right, that's good right there. Go ahead, officer. Go ahead and take them apart, man.
All right, let's go to Genesis 25 and actually let's start at 23. Because remember, the point is Esau is a landmass.
Right, right.
So let's start at 23 first.
The book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people
People, 2 manner, meaning they are different.
shall
Read
be
on.
separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
Okay, then let's jump to 30.
Verse 30. And Esau said to Jacob,
Oh, so this landmass was talking to
Right. I'm trying to figure out how land getting down in the bed though. I mean, what?
and Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore his name was called Edom.
So now this landmass wanted to eat some pottage.
Red. Get Genesis 36:1 real quick, so we can see that his name, the generations of Esau, which now is called Edom, because this dummy on the messenger of truth telling all lies
Is
to
an
the
idiot.
people.
The book of Genesis, chapter 36, verse 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom.
Now, who's a landmass?
I didn't know a landman could have generations.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Talking to people.
Let's get Malachi 1:1.
Dun, dun, dun.
Because the Bible, I think the Bible gonna say the people.
Yeah. We didn't
Okay.
we done already went over several scriptures where it said the people.
Man, listen, man, brother, that's a landmass your brother's talking about.
Exactly.
And it's Islam.
I'm gonna change
This
his
brother
name.
gonna say it's Islam.
The book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 4. Whereas Edom saith,
Start at verse 1.
Yeah, hit that one shot.
verse 1, the burden of the word of the Lord of Israel by Malachi.
Uh-huh.
I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, when hast thou loved us?
The Most High speaking to the Israelites.
Was not Esau Jacob's brother?
Hold what?
Was not Esau Jacob's brother?
This brother's already. This messenger of truth was already debunked in the first 2 scriptures.
We've related to a landmass. Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Saith the Lord, yet I loved Jacob. And I hated Esau.
Oh,
The
And-
Most High hates.
And laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
So hold on. If it's a landmass,
where's that guy heritage at?
Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished,
so now the land is talking.
but we will return and build the
But
desolate
they
places.
gonna return and build on itself.
Right. Maybe through an earthquake. I don't know.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down.
Hold on.
the
It says
Most High
they shall build, not it shall build.
Or grow. They shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against, and the people
There you go again.
And
against
the
whom,
people.
The people.
the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
That's crystal clear. So this brother is an idiot. If he is one of us, if he is an Israelite brother, you need to repent. Drop that foolish doctrine,
your
brother.
mind right, bro.
Get your mind right and repent of that madness that you posted up online to make a fool of yourself, brother.
Stop the hate and study. Keep the commandments.
He need to change his name too, the messenger of viciousness.
Let's go to Numbers 24 and 14 now.
That's what he need to do.
This brother, man.
The book of Numbers, chapter 24, verse 14. And now, behold, I go unto my people. Come therefore, and I will advertise thee what this people shall do to thy people in the latter days.
So
Oh.
it's saying what this people shall do to thy people.
Okay.
And he took up his parable and said, Balaam, the son of Beor, said, he hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath said, he hath said, which heard of the words of God,
It was a
and,
witch in a trance. Read on.
and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall raise out of Israel, and
Okay.
shall smite the corners of Moab, and
Ooh.
destroy
That's
all
China.
the children of Sheth, and
That's Egyptians.
Edom.
And eat him.
And Edom.
And Edom.
And Edom shall be a possession. Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies.
Maybe the brother doesn't understand that that's talking about people.
Go back to
not
14
a
again.
land,
Read
man.
14
Yeah, we
again.
got to
Verse
right.
14. And now, behold, I go unto my people. Come therefore, and I will advertise thee what this people shall do to thy people
So
in
they
the latter
say
days.
land.
They didn't say land. I keep hearing people.
Man.
People.
In verse 18. And Edom shall be a possession. Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies, and Israel shall do valiantly.
That's crystal clear, man.
That covered. That pretty much said everything we've been reading so
The
far.
whole time. That sums
It's
up the
consistent
book.
the whole time.
Yep. Now let's get Obadiah. Obadiah 9, 1, 9 through 10.
That's why the scriptures tell you to examine the matter first before you speak.
The book of Obadiah, started verse 9.
Yeah, start at verse 9.
And thy mighty men, O Taman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one mount of Esau,
Hold on,
what?
every one
of the mount
of the
Esau,
mount of Esau.
may be cut off by slaughter.
Can you can you slaughter land? I ain't never seen nobody do that.
I don't know what that brother.
Verse,
Maybe their brothers think they the Amazon. They talking about cutting down trees. Read that again.
In verse 10. In verse 10.
for thy violence against thy brother Jacob,
Oh, so there you go again.
shame
Was it
shall
Esau
cover thee.
Jacob's brother?
Hold on. What? But
dumb as hell.
what landmass can do violence?
What landmass can be
Maybe
related
something about
to
an
something?
earthquake, man. I don't know.
This brother, man, is just
And
stupid.
thou
brother.
shalt be cut off forever.
So it's talking about the people shall be cut off forever for the violence they have done against the Israelites.
Verse 18.
Yep, 18.
And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble.
So this is talking about, this is the house of Israel, the house of both houses, the southern and northern kingdom.
And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and they shall be not any remaining of the house of Esau.
It's a house of Esau.
Talking about
Just
their
like we
whole
saw
families.
the lineage, the tree, the family tree earlier.
And this also
it's a house.
cut that stupid woman on our page.
For the Lord hath spoken it.
For who?
For the Most High God has spoken it, which means it will happen. It's
That's
according to his
right.
will.
So that's not what we saying. We some leftist cult or whatever you talking about. That's verbatim out the scriptures, dummy.
in their own Bible. Let's get Isaiah 14 and 1.
There we go. The book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
Oh, he gonna have mercy on who?
On Jacob.
On
And,
the Israelites.
and
Read
will
on.
yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Okay, so now the strangers are going to be joined with us. And let's see what they're going to be doing.
Verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them.
Oh,
See, that answers the other scripture, meaning that we're going to possess Edom. Not saying we're going to possess the land of Edom, but
They
possess the people. Read on.
Shall possess them in the land of the Lord,
In the land of the Lord, Jerusalem.
for
Read on.
servants and handmaids,
And that's what they're going to be.
that they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
So
Bam.
whose captives were we? I mean,
There
that's
you
an
go.
easy question right there. Whose
There
captives were
you
we?
go.
hold on. So you mean the white man is getting to the kingdom?
We read that in Revelation 13:10.
So he is making it to the kingdom.
Yeah, he
Yep.
is. In
Okay.
shackles.
And what under what
sir.
conditions? With servants and handmaids? Okay.
Yep. Now let's get verse 21.
No, you got
No, let me
Yeah,
finish
let's
it.
finish
Yeah.
this out.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
shall
finish
take
that up,
them
finish that up.
captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors,
Oppressors.
Rule over them. Key word.
over them. Verse 21. Prepare slaughter. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers.
Now you
didn't
can't pay for the sins of your daddy.
Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon
We already read what Babylon was.
There you go.
the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord.
He ain't leaving
He
nobody
ain't
out.
lead nobody.
Every last one.
Just
of
in
y'all
case
put
you
it
had a
down.
dumb thought like vegan girl, they all getting put to death.
Now let's get Amos 9 and 11.
That's simple.
It's like, at least do some studying before you make comments. Damn.
We don't have a problem with people asking questions, but when you get on there and you start just being
An idiot.
A
scoffer.
fool.
Scoffer.
Yeah, scoffer.
Calling
then-
us dummies,
Yeah, and all that. Then you taking it to another level.
you gonna get blasted.
Thus saith the Lord. The book of Amos, chapter 9, verse 11. And that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof,
Bringing the two kingdoms back together.
And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom.
Oh, didn't we just read that in Isaiah 14:1?
Yeah.
Okay.
That they may possess the remnant of Edom and of the heathen.
That's including them Africans, the East Indians, because we got a lot of brothers worshiping Ishmael.
Yep.
Which are called by my name, saith the Lord that doeth this.
Who do it?
Saith the Lord that doeth this.
It's
Now,
right there.
the brothers in the purple in the cult.
Saith the Lord that doeth this.
So regardless, whether we here or not, Most High's God's will stand.
Exactly. With or without us, and most certainly with or without you.
Damn.
Now we about to have some fun here.
Let's go to Isaiah 5 and 13.
The book of Isaiah chapter 5 verse 13. Therefore my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge.
Because we lack knowledge.
And their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Therefore hell hath enlarged herself.
So why did hell enlarge itself? Read the verse above.
Therefore my people are gone into captivity.
This is why hell enlarged itself.
So you telling me hell is captivity?
Yeah.
Hold on, I thought hell was in the middle of the earth.
Okay, so let's.
I'm
keep going.
Poke with a pitchfork.
Right.
The book of Isaiah chapter 5 verse 13. Therefore my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge. Verse 14. Therefore hell have enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure, and their glory and their multitude and their pomp and he that rejoiced shall descend into it. So hell is captivity.
Exactly.
So,
we are in hell right
We
now.
are, but let's find out who's going to hell. Let's get this book, the
Get that
picture,
photo,
the
the
photo
Vornay.
of Vornay. Go to page 76 of the Vornay.
Some of these books cost
Vornay,
thousands of dollars.
right
Oh.
there. Ooh, who's that? Now, when you read the description of that, we can already get it right now because we got the
Page
actual book up here.
76.
Read what it say.
Check out the angel.
Check
Yeah,
out
check
the
out the angels. Check out the hand coming down there with the judgment, the fist right there.
the angels all black
And now this is a church. Where is this church located?
in Romania.
In Romania.
How old is it?
It's
Painted in the 1500s, I believe.
yeah, and they still knew they was Israel then, and they knew the prophecies. Read what it say right there for that picture.
The excerpt, page 76. Angels struggling with devils.
Struggling with who?
Struggling with devils.
So let's zoom in. There should be another photo.
Yeah, go to
up
the
there.
next photo. We're gonna
Let's
get a
zoom
close
in
up
to make sure because we
who the
seeing
devil is.
the two complexions. We seeing dark skinned angels and some
Go
pinkish
to
people.
page 77.
There you go. Look at
There
that
you go.
fist coming down. What's the caption on 76 say at the bottom?
You
there?
can't read it here. Can you zoom in on that caption down there, Mike, at the bottom? See if you can
The
zoom
bottom
in.
left?
The bottom left. There's a caption down there because we don't want them to think we making this up. Read what it say.
Page 77. The scales of justice. The last judgment.
The what?
The last judgment.
Didn't we read that in Second Esdras?
Yes, sir.
The
Look.
scales of judgment, the last, there it is right there. Look at that. You can read it for yourself. The last judgment.
And look who it's on.
Roll the picture down so they can get a close up of the face right there. Mike,
scroll that thing
down
up.
just a little bit. That one, just so they can see their head.
And it says
look at
the
that.
last judgment. So I'm gonna read this. This is
Look at
Second
that.
Esdras
Look at
chapter
that right there.
6.
That's good right there. You're going too far.
It says Second Esdras chapter 6 verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. That's what that picture was just symbolizing.
And that's showing you that the Israelites back in the day before we got totally destroyed, they knew what the prophecy said.
Right, because that was during the Byzantine Empire when we was actually in power.
Right.
When that was painted.
So that's just showing you we're not saying anything different than what the original Israelites said. It's
And
the
was
same
painted.
exact thing.
But we got these foolish people out here spreading lies. But all that garbage is getting cast down.
Coming on Facebook. Yeah, I know.
Which
I
I
mean,
need
coming
to
on
do.
the YouTube page.
Most High Christ
Most High
bless.
Christ bless.
Yeah, shalom. Most High Christ bless.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road. Purple and gold from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.